Hello, welcome back to another video on my channel. Today, you can tell I have a new setup, and now I apologize in advance if it looks a little bit darker. There's just this new room really doesn't have great lighting, and I only really have the big brick, I guess whatever you want to call it, light. So it might look dark from back here, but I think when I do the reviews, you'll probably see the shades up. I tried to have the curtains up, but unfortunately just too much glare over the camera and it just wouldn't work, so this is the best we're gonna have to do. And like I told y'all last video, I got a new mic setup. I don't have those little Apple headphones anymore, which did have a great mic even though it was a little silent. This one's hopefully a little bit of an improvement. But anyways, let's talk about one of the cars. Like, you know Hot Wheels, right? I think you should know, right? And there is the story of like the Hot Wheels on which one's the most rare or anything. And usually for collectors, the one car that pops up in like the talkings of the rarest Hot Wheels of all time is the famous 1969 pink rear loader beach bomb. Now that car, Redline, it's in pink. I know there's other beach bombs out there, but those actually have the surfboards on the side, while that specific one, which is apparently a prototype, had surfboards on the back side. So, that's definitely one of the most famous Hot Wheels cars in the world. It's sold for like hundreds of thousands of dollars, or it's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that is widely considered one of the rarest Hot Wheels cars of all time because it's in very limited quantities, and people would just throw them. They would just play with them. The kids would play with them, of course. And another one that probably comes up to mind is the custom auto that they released. Not released, but it was a special edition that I think Mattel and Hot Wheels commissioned, which is full of diamonds, which is around like $400,000, I think, worth, which is a one of one. But there is another car that, to me, is rarer than the pink rear loader beach bomb, and it's probably considered one of the rarest Hot Wheels of all time, but it's not talked about often. And what car is that? You may or may not believe it, but it's actually the Ford Fusion. Now, I'm not talking about just the normal Ford Fusion. I'm talking about a very specific Ford Fusion that was in a promotion that it's not really talked about, and the specific release is not really detailed very well. So we'll go on to the story here. So back in, I think, 2006 or 2007, I don't remember, I'll put it up on the screen, somewhere around those years, Kellogg's had a promotion with Target, the Target store, and they had they had a Hot Wheels promotion where you get the cars in the cereal box, which used to be an old thing, which I think it should return nowadays. So they would have a promotion for like certain Kellogg cereals, like Frosted Flakes, for example, and you'd get a Hot Wheels car in the cereal box, and they're all Ford Fusions. Now, there was a couple of different colors. I think there's a black one, a blue one, and a silver one, if I remember. I don't remember if there's other colors. And it's cool if it would be cool to find these in the cereal box if you were a kid around that time. I wasn't. I was barely born in 2007, so unfortunately I couldn't see this promotion. So yeah, they had this promotion where they have all these cars, and all these cars are in like massive quantities. They were made in the millions probably, but since they partnered with Target, there was a sweepstakes involved with this promotion, and I believe it was called, you could win a real car. So the Ford Fusion was just barely coming off the lot in 2006 to 2007, and it would make sense that Target and Kellogg's and Hot Wheels would all partner up into making this special promotion where if you get a specific Ford Fusion, you actually win a real car. So they would tell you, I think there's only one photo of this car that in existence, and there isn't another photo of the car in existence. And the specific car you had to find was a Ford Fusion, and it was supposed to be all red, and it had Target logos on the sides and I believe on the hood. If you found that in your cereal box, that means you would have won a real Ford Fusion, or maybe something else, because I feel like there would also be cash prizes involved. So I'm just talking about this because it's one of those rare, like probably the rarest Hot Wheels car that no one ever talks about. it's not documented well. The promotion, I don't know how long it lasted. I didn't do enough research, and I apologize. That car is technically a one of one, because it wouldn't make sense to just give away, like, say 5 cars, like real life cars, and that means there'd only be 5 of those cars in existence. Um, and unfortunately, information is scarce. There's no info on whoever won the car, and it's actually very unknown if it's even been redeemed or not. I did watch a video from Race Gurus back then, and I still did, just for research on this video. The title is called the Dusty Box, and he was just looking through old cars in an old box. Dusty, of course, that's where the title comes from. And he mentions that he had a bunch of these Ford Fusions, and he mentioned that there was that special promotion, and I tried to look more into it, but of course, like I said, no information. And he did say that he had information, or not information, but like a photo of like a family that won the car, so technically it probably was redeemed. And I commented on the video, and unfortunately he replied, and unfortunately he couldn't give me any more information. On a side note, I think it's pretty cool that Race Cruise is still pretty active in these pretty old videos. So even though you didn't have any information, I still thank you for replying to my comment. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. I think it's one of those cars that not like I don't think many people even know existed. A Ford Fusion as one of the rarest Hot Wheels cars of all time. That doesn't really make any sense. But it does work here. Like I said, if you find one, which I I think it's gonna be highly impossible to find that, because if it was redeemed, that means Mattel or some other, like maybe Ford, has it in their archives or something. I don't know. But yeah, it's technically just a Ford Fusion that's all red, and it had Target logos on the side. That's pretty much what the chase car was if you won, like if you got that in the cereal box. So, and I consider it one of the rarest cars. It's even rarer than the pink rear loader Beach Bomb, because there's definitely more of those out there than the Ford Fusion. Kellogg's promotion, the Target one, the red one specifically. I consider that to be the most rare car ever. And like I said, it's just not too many people talk about. So I just decided to make it into video form, just to inform y'all maybe on something new. If you're a new collector, or if you're an old collector and you never knew that there was there was this promotion, and this is technically the rarest car of all time. Hope you learned something new in the video. But anyways, just wanted to make this kind of a short video, just describing this kind of odd piece of Hot Wheels history. The rarest car no one ever talks about. So if you liked it, please give it a like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace.